right, morning team. You can hear already that I've caught some form of virus or cold or something. So probably be a slower day for me today, and probably won't do a full stream. If I'm feeling rough, I will be getting off the charts a little bit early. Okay, let's go over everything and see what we've got. So currently, starting the previous week here. All right, currently, we're still trading inside the previous week after Monday's look below and fail. All right. When we come to the daily, we've just done a look above and fail overnight. Those of you would have seen yesterday, nice drive up, earnings on video, sold off, found a bid on the 5-day, came up to this key pivot. This is the pivot we've been talking about for some time now, and we just failed, and we've traded back inside, back towards the 5-day. So finding safety at the 5-day, currently looking like chop. All right, inside bar, looking like chop, inside week bar, looking like chop. We come down to the hourlies. We are currently trading inside previous week's value area. There's value area high, there's value area low, there's point of control. All right, so inside previous week's value of the D shape. And we're also trading inside of yesterday's value. Value area high, value area low. No acceptance below, no acceptance above. There's your rotation. Now it's a decent size rotation. You're basically talking 400 down to like 170. It's 380, 390 down to 170. That's your ping pong right now. All right, that's what we did overnight, and it's what we did yesterday. No acceptance above, no acceptance below. You would say the hourly trend has shifted, somewhat bullish. We haven't taken all the stops out. Maybe they want to come and get some more. I don't know. Maybe they failed to get some more. But if you don't see Nvidia find a bid, all right, it had good earnings, but maybe it was too priced in. Maybe we're too frothy. If we start losing this, all right, if we start trading underneath the previous day's value and previous week's value, yes, we have current weak point of control, but we lose that. That's where weakness is likely to come into the market underneath all this. Until then, we can actually start making like lower lows and higher highs in this range here. It can be quite gross while they build out liquidity and figure out what it is they want to do. So just be aware of that. I don't really want to be short at the lows right now. If we're in a range, right? If we're in a range, we don't want to be long here and we don't want to be short here because we can keep turning around. What we're going to need to wait to see is what we had here. You know, a nice clear failure, run of stops, come inside, failure to make a new high, lose the range, sell back down. All right, if we see the same thing here, okay, then we can think about the long back up. And if we don't see that, and we see weakness start to be sold, then we can join the short for the rotation back down. A lot of this is going to depend on what we see on some of the broader names. We are seeing, you know, the market, although we've seen some rotation the last week, it is still the case that 41% of this, the S&P now, is made up of 10 stocks. So if we start to sell the mag, which we are, other than Microsoft and Tesla, because we're seeing a rotation back into software for the first time for a while. Okay, so let's have a look at overnight so you can have a look. There's your pivot low. There's your Globex. Asia grind up. London back down to the pivot where they bought it from in Asia. Back up, sweep the highs, faded to break a new high. There's the loss of value, back down to value. All right, so all depends what happens here. Do we see this? Do we see this? It's what we're going to wait for this morning. One of those two things, hopefully. And make a decision after that. Okay. Man, I feel rough. Yes. Whoever gave me this in Austin, you bastard. I'd rather not feel like this. All right, ES, like you can see ES opening up right on this 420. This is your high volume node for the options players. It's right above this breakout. All right, there's your consolidation. Breakout, hold, push, hold. This is the level. 420 to the 410s. You're watching that. Do they hold that? Something like this. Or do they start to lose this and see that dump back down into some of these down here? Have to wait and see. Very much like the NQ, you're going to have to let it develop. And it's going to be the same on the spiders and everything else. SPY, same story. trading inside pre-market and after hours right now. You can see the same story. Make it easy for yourself. That's where we're boxed in, broke out, retested, tried again, still holding. All right, it is still technically holding higher lows at the moment. But if we start to see lower lows and lower highs, then the danger starts. QQQ, same thing. The big level on the Qs is this down here, 700. All right, if we break below that this week and start to reject it, that is a notable shift in tone. Okay, we are under 611, so we are in potentially sell pops unless they reclaim this kind of scenario, and you'd be watching 705 and 700s. Crude starting to break out of this range down here. All right, rejected 100, came lower, breaking out over, held 100. You can see where it wants to come, 102, 103s. All right, and if this thing keeps going, we just have to see, you know, like we talked about, the war news keeps rotating. What I'd say with this war news is we've heard it all before, and if we keep pricing in this war being over, war being over, war being over, right, even if it does become over, what then? What then to push the market, right? What then? Because we're propping it up on forward, you know, we're pricing in forward events. You just got to be a bit careful there, I would say. All right, Apple. Breaking out of range, holding range, but gapping down. So not finding acceptance over 302, so you got a $2 rotation here. 300 to 302, but a slight gap down there on Apple. Amazon. Weakness, all right? 3 drives, 1, 2, 3, pre-market. There's your head and shoulder. There's your neckline. If they lose this, we have no support. We're kind of thin in here. We can come straight back down to 260. So weakness in Amazon. Goog, same story. Weakness, right? Just rejected previous day's close after reclaiming it pre-market. Rejected it twice. Clear rejection there. Trading back down to this gamma level at C1. If they lose this, all right, we've got to think about what we've started to develop here. Or if they lose this, down we come. And you can see under here we're thin, under 380. So weak on Google as well. Meta in a range here, but under PDC, slight gap down. There's your tight part of the range. 600 is what matters right now. If they lose that, it's in big trouble. Microsoft found a bid. All right, software finding a bid. The whole of the software ETFs finding a bid, Oracle, etc., etc. All right, there's your breakout, hold, big squeeze up on news. All right, the question is really, can they hold this full 30? We expect a pullback now, anywhere down to these 20s, but can they reclaim that and get going for today or tomorrow's session? Nvidia, so earnings last night, you can see the move on earnings. It was probably under the 8%, which I think was expected. Yeah, well under it. But I guess from previous day close, it was 8%. Yeah, it would have been. So just churning all the options players. They are boxed in. You're in the same range as you've been in all week. All right, nothing's changed here on Nvidia. All right, consolidation. All right, if Nvidia starts breaking lower and chips get weak, fine. Instead, Nvidia breaks higher and chips get strength, fine. It's kind of what we need to wait for. We need to wait for an indication right now of what's going to lead this market. Strength in Tesla is a nice gap up. Gap and go, holding right now. You know the level. We talk about it all the time. 420s. It's starting to try and hold the 420s now. The next one to check will be right here. It's 430s, 435s, and then this underside here, 441s. Right, you can see software, the names that are catching the bid here. With Softy, you can see like Oracle starting to catch the bid. Some of these chips starting to sell off, like AMD. So you're going to see SOXL starting to lose that 170 level we talked about yesterday. All right, this is starting to become key here. It's not game over if it loses it, not by a long stretch. All right, if we think about this. All right, so what it does in here becomes key. If it loses this though, well, that's more of a problem. All right, so 160 is going to be key. If they lose 160, 163, 160, if they lose it on a back test, then that's weakness for the market. Until then, we can hold this and go. And we can develop a range here, just like Nvidia is. We can develop a range here on these chips and wait for them to make the decision. 30-year, let's have a quick look. Is it continuing the breakout? No. Well, that's a good sign that it's come back in a bit. It's still broken out. Highest point since 2007. We'll see. We'll see. If it holds the top of this edge, that is a problem for the market if it does that. If this is just a clear out and we start to see this, then we'll see strength in the market. But if it does this, oh, dearie, dearie me. I'm just going to check the bonds very quickly. Okay. All right, folks. So we got about 4 minutes here until the open. Oh my God. What about Hood? Hood should probably be starting to catch a bid with some of the software names soon, I would imagine. Yeah, it's holding well on well. You've got bull earnings tonight, so maybe we get a move off that. We'll see. But it's consolidating well. It's held its pullback in this range. If we start to find bids out of here, if software starts to find a bid, we start to get going. If Hood can't hold this pivot, for some reason they go risk off on software and risk off on financials, then we come leg down into the next point. But at the moment, it looks okay, doesn't it? If we think about this RBS zone, we're holding it. We're consolidating sideways with the rest of software. And if we rotate, remember, if semis sell, we probably get software bid, right? Why? Because software's down anywhere from 40 to 70%, right? So we'll probably see a rotation back into some of these names, but we have to see. We have to wait and see. It looks okay right now. All right, so coming back down to previous day value area low here. This would be important for the morning session. You know, how do we act in this grey box? Very much like yesterday. How do we act in this grey box? Does the market want to bid out of it? You know, is this sell-off on or this consolidation on Nvidia all a big trap for them to buy? Or is it a sign of weakness where the market's run out of gas? And is it going to be a sell pop day? I don't know if I'll click buttons, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I have it in me today to manage risk. We will see. We will see. Oh, God. Smash my desk to pieces. We'll see. Oh, my God. Sorry, no blasphemy. Oh, my word. I got told by a friend yesterday, I watched you on stream, you've got a potty mouth. I said to him, cough. I know I do. It needs sorting. It needs sorting. It's the Londoner in me. It is the Londoner in me. Okay, market about to open here. You're about 40 seconds here, folks. What did I do? I could feel it coming on yesterday. I said to you yesterday I wasn't feeling too good. So, I don't know. I've caught a bug from somewhere. Probably on the airplane, you know, probably on the airplane. Hopefully it's not nothing that sticks around too long. Hopefully it's a 24-hour, 48-hour virus or something. Right, lots of liquidity on the tape, both sides here. Here comes the morning print. Here we go, folks. So there's the holder value. We're going to come back up and test this potentially. We are under both VWAPs right now. SOXL finding a bid instantly closed its gap. So chips instantly finding a bid. Gap been filled. Weakness up there, rejection up there so far. On the gap fill, on the chips I'm talking about here. If you're wondering what I'm on about. Well, this is a delight. It's bit like yesterday, isn't it? What are we doing? Back to the top side of the range, it looks like. All right, VWAP rejecting again. We'll see if they retest value area low here, see if they want to make a decision down there. Big rejection on the gap fill on chips. Big rejection. Look at that. Value area low still holding right now. They don't know what to do with it at the moment. This is just like a wait and see moment for the market, I would say. They're holding value. They're rejecting VWAP. If you're watching SOXL, it just rejected a gap fill, flushed down, caught a bid again on its RBS zone. We just need to let this develop. If you are a range trader, I guess some of you might be wanting to bid here. I don't like what I'm seeing there. Those equal lows like that. That doesn't scream bid to me. But hey, we've said that before, and then NQ's decided to move 300 points higher without taking it. So who knows? All right, still tap previous day high. SOXL failed previous day high. Back under gap fill. They don't know what to do with this. I think you're probably going to get a sweep of the lows here, folks. I think you're about to see it right now. There you go. All right, lows taken. Right, let's see for a response here. Do they bid this or do they sell this now? So there's the lows taken why I didn't want to take the long. We'll see now what happens. So they swept all the pre-market stops out. I think they've got a chance to sell pops if we stay under value. SOXL is really struggling here. So it's driven up twice now in the opening 5 minutes to PDC and PDH, and it keeps having the door closed on it up there. There's strength in the market right now is coming from Tesla and MSFT and some of the other names, broader names, your Netflix, your Oracles, your software names, all right, all the names we've talked about. IONQ, for those in the IONQ swing, we should be up almost 10% now. That's just opened up another, what? Where are we opening up here? Another 4% higher. Just be aware of that. So we're probably up, approaching 10% up on that swing from a few days ago. So just be aware of that. If you want to lock some in, you can. I'm going to hold on and see if this market gets going in some of those names. We're shifting from chips to softy at the moment. I mean, very light, I would say, very light today. But yeah, if you look at the software names, they've caught a bid. And if you look at the chip names, look at AMD, just look at SOXL, it's 0.5% down. Scroll down, Netflix, 0.25% up. Softy, over 0.5% up. Oracle, over 1% up. Am I in a trade? No, I'm not. But again, I have made it clear. I very well might not trade today, folks. I will call stuff for you, but like you can hear it and see it in me. I'm ill. And what does that mean? Well, my decision making might be poorer today than usual. And if we're in a ranging market, which is my least favorite market, I don't really want to put risk on unless I'm feeling pretty good. It should be part of your checklist when you trade. I used to say it every morning. Have you slept well? Have you had your coffee? Have you worked out? Have you done your meditation? Do you feel well enough to take a trade? Because if the answer to that is no, then why the fuck are you trying to trade, right? Because this is a very hard job. You need to make very good decisions very, very quickly. Yesterday, for example, I probably had to make decisions quicker than I have for a while because the market was moving very fast. I 8 stops yesterday. I moved break even yesterday. I locked in profits yesterday. If a day like that occurred today, I tell you what, I'd probably lose a lot of money. Right, my aircon has just gone on again. Let me turn this off because I don't want to shiver on stream. I'll be right back. You are starting to see a bid after the sweep, though. I will say that much. We did just talk about this, but it's still very early in the day. But this sweep here, probably ran the stops. And if they are going to protect the lows, that's the kind of thing you'd want to see. I really do not like the look of SOXL, though. We will see. We will see here. what it is they want to do. Sorry, folks. You're going to hear me coughing and splattering today. All right, back to point of control, back to the New York Open. All right, bulls will want to bid this now. And if they fail to bid this, because they have aggressively bid this on that last 5-minute candle at this range, they will want to bid this. You are still inside pre-market range in all these semiconductors, so you still have the chance to chop around. I'm just warning you. ES is showing weakness here. It's starting to break down. So if the chips lose the bid here, the Qs are going to start to rotate lower with ES. If chips hold the bid here and ES holds this current low of day, then maybe you see a bit of strength. But that's what you're in right now. You just rejected VWAP here. So if you start to sell under this, I think you're going to see a bigger move lower. If bulls can hold this and chips can find this bid at PDC, PDH for the run back up through 175 to 180, then we got a chance to get back through all of this. But it's we're on a knife edge right now, and you have divergence. ES right down to low of day right now. So we're about to see if we start to lose value here. If they start to get under 200, 210s, there's a chance of a big sell through everything setting up, because the low of day auction doesn't look like they've trapped anyone. So I wouldn't be surprised if they move lower. So I'm going to watch here for 210s and to see how we react into 210s to see if they stay heavy under it or not. Quantum's up, yeah. Well, the government announced a huge investment yesterday into it, or last night, or this morning. Surprise, surprise. I mean, you all know I'm in some quantum names with some guys in Discord. I'm in quite a few names positioned for 1, 2, 3, 5 years ahead, right? We position smaller in it. We take some profits. We take our risk off the table, and then we're able to leave the rest of the risk on in the hope that maybe one of these in 5 years will be an Nvidia-sized company. All right, so they held there. They held point of control. SOXL trying to reclaim. I'm still not convinced, but it's trying to reclaim. It's not through the 175s. ES try to find a bid at low of day. QQQ trying to find a bid. Holding its 5-day for now. I'd say that 711 is going to be pretty key on the options chain for QQQ. So you'd say at the moment, bulls are in control, lower time frame at the moment, but the moment that 210 gets lost, I think you might see problems start to develop. That's what I'm trying to tell you at the moment. They lose 210s, I think you're going to see problems. I know we're going to be inside value, but that is what I would be watching very carefully as we come down to it now. SOXL starting to lose the bid at previous day high. So this is the chop zone, and I'm telling you now, they lose 210s, they could be in problems here, especially if ES lets go. So sensitive area, you're at VPOC, you're at New York Open, we're watching these 210s, whether it gets protected or they start to lose it. They're testing it now. You can see the importance of it. They're holding the bid there for now. Chips so far doing okay. Still trading inside though. If that tone shifts, it's going to be a problem. Nvidia red to green. We will see. We will see. Do they flush this back down? Yes. They just rejected red to green. They just rejected close. Here's your 210s. I'd be very careful now. Sellers can come in very hard now and start to really try and flush this down around these 210s. So this is a big moment for the market here early on this morning. ES new low of day. So I'd be watching to see if rejection starts to take place here. So you can see the bulls are trying to recover. If they can't recover it, sellers will step in and you're going to start to see a deeper wash. So it's very, very, very sensitive area this. So bulls doing a good job so far. It's a good hold from SOXL there, trying to create a 5-minute bull flag now into the 175. You can see how sensitive that 210 was. Flush under, reclaim instantly. No close below, just flush under, reclaim. Right back to the top side. This is what's important, what I'm watching. Oh, this over here. It's a great hold now. You can see how sensitive it was here. Rejecting, rejecting, rejecting. It's creating a 5-minute bull flag. If it breaks 175, this is where it wants to go, where it was from yesterday. Nvidia catching a bid. All right, starting to catch a bid on the chips. You're still boxed in. Yeah, IONQ is absolutely ripping. We're ripping, man. We're up big on that swing. We're already up big on that swing. Let's have a little look. I didn't even have the best entry on it, but here we go. In 2 days, this is what we love about swing trading. In 2 days, we're up 16%. Remember, long-term swing accounts, what you're looking to do is 11% a year to beat the market. Well, trades like that, fantastic, right? Some of you would be up 20%. You would have got a better entry than me. Well, look, I'm up 41% on Oracle. I'm up 175% on AMD. We're up 10% on Softy. We're up 21% on iBit. What else are the big winners? IONQ, big winner right now. That little small name, I'm not even going to say it. The small cap name I gave you guys a few weeks ago in Discord, we're up over 10% on that. That's going to perk. I tell you what, that is really going to perk if Quantum starts going. All right, massive divergence here. Massive divergence here. Chips trying to get through the 175, rejecting. ES low of day. Massive divergence here. Well, I'm not going to give it to you. If you're in Discord, you've got it. There's got to be some benefit to being in Discord. There has to be some benefit. Can you swing trade Apex? No, mate. The only platforms I think you can swing trade on are maybe Fidus. You might be able to swing trade futures. Otherwise, you want to be looking at something like if you're not going to use your own money, trade the pool, stuff like that. Right, New York Open still holding here. Value area low on the session is those 10s. You can see the importance of 10s. I'm still telling you, if they lose 10s, they're in big trouble here. But you have divergence between the Qs and the ES, between the chips and the ES. It's another rejection of 175 here. Chips trying to break out and struggling a little bit at the 75. If you get a close under 10s, this is what's important. If you get a close under 10s, this is going to get washy. Here's your level. They close under this and they lose this. You've got a 100-point move down here, and if they really let go, you've got deeper. But this is the very, very important level. That's a big rejection of 175 now on the chips. They're starting to look like they might be in trouble here, these chip names. So I'll be watching pops to 210 to maybe the New York Open, maybe even 225 to stay heavy here for a sell if I was you. So you'd want pops to fail now, and you want to be careful into the low of day. But that's probably the first trade set up here at the moment for the wash. And you can see sellers starting to come on the book at 210, 215, 235. So if pop starts to fail here, you probably start to see a break of low of day, especially with ES starting to do it. So we'll see. You've got to be very careful that they don't trap because of it's so like one-sided on the chips. You're starting to see that 210 rejection. Here's the tap into it. So you'd want this to stay heavy now and flush a new low of day, which is what you're starting to see. You want to be very careful. Do not give a wide stop here because you do not want to get squeezed out to high of day if you're taking this. The chips are making this hard. They're making it very hard right now. They've just recovered again around previous day high. So I'd be very careful. They're going to have a poke, are they? 175 poke. ES about to break down. Chips about to break out to the upside. That is hilarious. There's literally the opposites right now. There's VPOC rejection. You need to get back under 210s, otherwise I would cut this. No, I don't like it if I was you now. They are horrible the way they've set that. What's the bet they run it up and then dump it? So if we look at ES, went straight to lower day. It did the move that you would want. All right, went straight down to lower day, found a bid. If you look at SOXL, It's trying to break out of high of day. All right, it's the complete opposite. And this is where all the strength is coming from. It's not coming from the mag. As you can see, it's not coming from the mag. It's coming from this trying to recover. It's coming from this guy here, which is mid-range right now, right on its closing price from yesterday. It is Chop City. Be nice if they got alignment again. This is like yesterday. I think yesterday morning we were unaligned for what, maybe 45 minutes or something before we caught alignment. Must have been a little while. Yeah, it must have been 45 minutes. I'm sure it was definitely a little while. Still in your opening range. Yes, that 420 we talked about pre-market. That's your under over right now. SOXL at high of day. It's insane. They're saying, no, we're not ready. We are not ready. Microsoft green to red. Oosh. So as chips find a bid, software starts giving back some gains. Rotation, 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 rotation. Some bids coming in here at 30s. They are adding liquidity now. 60s, 70s, 80s, and 300s. Look at this fucking chop fest. ES rejecting the 420s so far. Another rejection of 175s on semis. I told you. What's the bet they pump and then lose it? Because they're horrible. They just rotate this current range on the day, which is very tight. Look, 6s to 50s. You're 45-point range right now. Back to the 10s. It's the same setup as earlier, but there's now bids on underneath at 195 down to 150. Did they just pop that just to give it all back? Yep. Make your mind up. ES about to break lower day. It's the same setup here. It's just whether you can be asked to take it, given how choppy it is. But it's the same setup. They lose 10s. They should run low of day. But all eyes are on you know who and you know what. Oh my God, we're ripping. You're right. That little company we took on Discord, we're up 11% on it on the day. What a cool. What a cool that was. What a cool that was. We're ripping faces. Well, if quantum goes, that goes. That's why we positioned in it. That's why it's a 1 to 3 year swing for us. Look at them chopping this up today. Semi's still holding previous day high, previous day close for now. That's awesome, man. What is it? It's something. No, we're not giving it here. No. I don't spend hours trawling through scanners at the weekends to just give it all in here for free. I'll give you enough edge for free in here as it is. If you're in Discord, just go to the swing channel and ask there. Beautiful move. All right. SOXL still holding. It's still trying to do this inverted head and shoulders from pre-market. Still trying to do a 5-minute bull flag. It's still holding PDC. It still can't break out 175. So it's 175 versus 173 right now. Those are the levels. The fact that it hasn't broken down is stopping this from washing. If it breaks down, you're going to see this collapse, probably back down to previous week value area low, which it's getting very close to doing at the moment. But I wouldn't blame you for not taking this. You've probably had 1 or 2 attempts at it already, but it looks like they're trying to set it up for the wash here, the 210 break to low of day, but they've done it a few times. PDC again here now. on SOXL. That 173 break is key. You lose 173, you probably go for it. You hold 173, they go 175, they break 175, they go 180, and this whole thing drips up again. They just need to make their mind up. Is there a limit for a payout on Lucid Flex? What do you mean a limit? Do you mean is there a max amount? Yeah, there'd be a max amount. You'll read it in the FAQs. It would be there. I'd imagine it's like 1,000 or 1,500 because the 50k is 2k. Oh my god, what is this? This is awful. Are they going to finally do it? No, it looks like they're going to finally do it. They're going to clear out to 150 here if they can flush. So much liquidity here into low of day. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a flush down to 150. Here they come. God, they've taken their time. The buyer here at 80s. He just absorbed the player at 90s and 80s. I think it will come though. Oh my Oh my god, you've got to laugh. You've got to laugh. Oh well, SOXL was breaking down and over 175 like that. This is like yesterday. Complete unalignment. Fail break on SOXL, pop 175, came back inside, found a bid again, is trying again. ES just broke out. Did we catch news there? Because ES just broke out with it, or are we just holding value? Can't see any of them. Maybe it's just a hold of value. I don't know. Maybe someone's stuck. All right, well, if they're going to go, they should come and test these now, but I don't know how you're going to get long in this, given how messy that's been. Maybe a pullback to hold 50s. They're going to come up to 300s now. And finally, SOXL is getting going. And they messed around for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes on that. Okay, so there's previous week point of control hit. PMI came out. PMI came out at 45. PMI came out like 5 minutes, 7 minutes ago, mate. Didn't really move the market at all. All right, ES went box to box and rejected. What's amazing, the chips have caught a bid and Nvidia's selling. 0.5% down. Kind of wild what we're seeing here. They want to come for the 300? That's a 300. Maybe. Maybe that's what they want. Some of these broad, and there you go, there's the 300. They just had the 150. They did, so that was your long opportunity there, 150 to 300. If you did just take that after we talked about it, I would be paying yourself some into point of control here, and you can wait now and see if they want to come and rotate the whole of yesterday's value, which will be, if they're going to continue to rotate, it would just be this to this. I'm somewhat surprised they didn't clean that out, given what went on elsewhere. But there we go. There's the shove. So this is your target now. If you just took that 150 long we just talked about. So pay yourself some in this grey box and then see if you can get 370, 390, and then all the way up to 464 really, I guess, if they're going to turn this thing on. Was news? I haven't seen it. Oh, you're right. Al Jazeera news. Iranian officials deny reports that Iran's supreme leader said that uranium must stay in Iran. I mean, a coiled market, news driven. There we go. All right, well, stuck here at point of control. I don't think that alternate's great, but you're stuck here at point of control. You should have been paying yourself and your runners only now for up here, because we're in a rotation, and it really depends what they're willing to do with this now, what their ambitions are. Back to VWAP, back to your opening range. If you lose this, if this was just a newsprint to spike it up, who fucking knows? It looks like SOXL's into pre-market high, so a 77 break now gives you 180s, which is your cool wall. So you're back to opening range here, back to VWAP. See if they're willing to keep bidding this now today. There is some selling caught under 200. I don't think it's that much, if I'm honest with you. I don't like what I'm seeing here today, but I'm flat anyway because I'm not incapable of trading right now. But that 150 dip held for that move up to 300. All the time we're above this, I guess we can hold dips. If they start rejecting up here and they rotate again, we can consider it. But at the moment, we're bullish now, lower time frame, having broken out of current range, having held previous day's value, coming into your, you've hit your first target, so you're just runners now to see if they can get all the way up to previous day value area high and close the gap, I guess, would be the next play. But you're going to need a continued bid. I'm finding it somewhat odd, the strength we're seeing in semiconductors with NVIDIA not finding a bid. I just think the options chain probably is very wonky right now. IONQ exploding. Yeah, like all of those. Look at Rigetti. The news was on the government contracts, right? So Rigetti 24% up, MVTS 2% up, IONQ 11% up. Like, and we're positioned well for that, which is great. Yeah, I'm now up 20% on IONQ. I mean, amazing. Happy days. All right, here's your value area high check, 50 again. Suxel's exploding. I wouldn't call it exploding. It's trying to get back up to the 180s. I wouldn't say it's exploding. It has a gap fill at 185, 186 if it gets through it, but it's a good shove up to the pre-market high, that's for sure. Back to inside value. They are chopping this around. That 711 just rejected on QQQ. It's choppy out here, man. That's your midpoint trade on the opening range that they're still holding. They held New York Open, they held VWAP. There is a buyer trying to join this tape to shove it. I'm really unconvinced right now. It's not even that I'm pessimistic. It's that the alignment feels way out of kilt if the market leader can't find a bid. But it does look like SOXL wants to do this 77 break to get up to 180. You can't deny that. And that will lift the market if they do that. And that is what it feels like at the moment. Right, previous week's open up here. Previous week's open is 25s, where we are now. Struggling to get over that at the moment. Yeah, they're really struggling to bid over that. There's so much liquidity up to 350. It's kind of weird. The last few days, we've taken a long time to come and clean out liquidity. They put it up there and then we sort of dither-dather. $7.11. They cannot get through $7.11 on the Qs, and they can't clean out that liquidity higher. It's somewhat odd. Weird. It just feels like an options pinned market right now. Bids come in here again at 280. They're trying to lift to get up to 320. They're just, why take so long? There you go. There you go. All right, there's previous day point of control. So 50% orb held, point of control, and now this is your next target. There they go. Finally, they're clearing out this liquidity. Yeah. Chips want the 180s, folks. They want those 180s at the moment. That's the cool wall. Nvidia red to green finally. Well, they did a fantastic job of not breaking down under the 210s here. Was it 210s? I think it was 210s. They had every right to flush this down deeper in here and didn't with ES. You had the divergence there, and here we go. Here's the run back up. So previous day value area high is your next target up here, and then gap fill and previous day high. Would I be a new money long here? Not right now. If you didn't get the 50 move here, I would wait now to see if we base above. Yeah, so I'd wait now. If you didn't get the long here for this, you need to wait for this or something like this now, because this becomes important. Because if we're going to just rotate, that would be the rotation, right? We went over this at the beginning, value to value, which is what we did overnight. You can see how we've rotated in here. We're not finding acceptance under. We don't know. We very well might not find acceptance over. If we're in a rotation, we will sell this back down to here. And if we sell that, we sell it back down to here again. If you hold the bid, then you're looking for this, or you're looking for some form of trap like that. You almost set those 180s now. It's almost there on the chip names. They took their time to get going, I'll tell you that much. That build out took a while. Why is ES and MES not aligned? Is it not? If it's not totally aligned, it would just be a liquidity difference. It should be there or thereabouts. You know, they are different tickers, so they have different liquidity pools, but it should be there or thereabouts. Now 13% up on that little swing we took, ladies and gents. Woohoo! Let's go. Better tell my friends who took it along with me back in the UK. All right, 711 key on the Qs here. 180 is the target on the semis. You're holding point of control now. If you hold these point of controls, I wouldn't be. For me, I hate trading point of controls. But if you hold this grey box, you can potentially shoot outside. Remember, this grey box is a rotational zone. This is where we rotate a lot of times All right, so if they are able to hold it, these will be the targets up here. Chips are still going. Nvidia, red to green, 1/3% up now. Can it catch a bid and start sending it is the question you're asking. There is liquidity up at 360 right now. Somewhat surprised. So 300 is the level that the buyer last came in that they're trying to hold right now. They're under 300. Previous week open is 95s. Here comes the pullback in this rotational zone. Where did people get stuck? 5-day auction is basically a big seller. There's a rejection block up there at 33s. They sold again at 08s. We're kind of thin here until we get down to 60s, I'd say, where you last dipped, 50s and 60s. And here comes the rotation in the grey box. Alex, long from 235, where to add? 235. I wouldn't be adding until you see a breakout above this and a hold right now. Too risky, man, because if we fail point of control and you fail value area high and you add size on up here and they rotate value, you're going to get hurt. Remember, we're still in a rotation, right? We're not in a trend. We're still in a rotation. I was thinking we were about to break down and do this. We didn't, but the rest of the market did. NQ didn't because of the chips. So we're still in a rotation from here to here. So if you add here, if you're long from, where did you say, 35s? If you add here and you move your average here and they let go of this, you're going to get wiped out, right? You don't want to do that. You want to hold your average where you are. You've got a nice entry and you need to hope that it gets above here. Then you need to lock some in. And then if they base up here, then you can add. I wouldn't be adding in a rotation right now. I think it's too risky. Far too risky. Here comes view up and your opening range high and value area high. And if they lose that, we flush all the way back down through value again. And the bid here at 70. Like I said, they can come back down to 56s here. If they lose 56s, then we'd probably come back down to 26s, which is why I wouldn't personally be adding up here. I think it's a little too risque. It's a too risque. Have they finished the pullback on the chips, or are we not going to make it to 180? Are we going to come back to 175 again? It's a tough trade right now, I'd say. Tough to do anything. Still holding value area high, still holding the opening range, still holding the view up, still holding the flow zones. It don't look too pretty to me. NQ can't get QQQ can't get above that 711 level that we talked about. Keeps getting stuck at 711. So Excel finding a bid in front of 175. Remember, it hasn't hit the 180 yet, which is where it wants to go, but it struggled on that first push. It needed a pullback. Back at these 711s again now on QQQ. If they get above this, it's positive. We can go back into positive gamma and look for 715s for the day if they're going to keep doing this grindy move up. So the opening range held there. Bids come back on at 300 here now, trying to support the tape at 300. They're trying to finish this auction up to 360 where they failed to clean out the liquidity. It's a bit like last time. They keep poking and then leaving it all and then coming down and dilly-dallying. Why not just complete it now, though? You've just done that work. Why stall here? SOXL getting stuck again. It is odd how we're moving today. It's like they don't know. They want to put risk on, but they don't complete the move. So they need to hold 300 now and complete this rotation to 360. You can see them on the book here. There come the buyers. They're trying. It's a shame. It's such a condensed market that it's moving on, 10 stocks and one ETF. So that loses the bid, or if there's a big options chain move on it, this is what happens. We just go, oh, we hit the brakes. Here comes the buyer. They're trying to support 300, like I said. There's liquidity all the way up to 360. They're trying to support 300 right now. Here comes the 300 test. They still haven't even filled him at 300. He's just sat there. He is gobbling up here, though. Okay, Q's holding 711. That's a key level that we just talked about. They hold that, we can start pushing probably. If they can hold a bid over it. We're trying to hold it at the moment. Looks like ES wants gap fill to me. Like, what is this dilly-dallying? Back to 300, 320, 300, 320, 300, 320, 300, 320, 300. What is the dilly-dallying over? What are you dilly-dallying over? This options level, 711, I guess. There's the 300. If they lose this, they probably flush back down towards VWAP. So this 711, it's a big, big level. Not seeing sellers walk down. Not seeing sellers walk down here. No, no sellers walking out. They're still sat higher. This is going to fuck around today, I think. Trapping buyers. I don't think it's trapping anything, though. That's the point. It's just like stalling out rather than trapping anyone. We don't have buyers caught at high of day right now. We don't have any really big lots on today at the moment. Much smaller lot sizes today. Back down to point of control. Well, you can watch VWAP here and opening range, value area high. We're back under the 711s, and SOXL is going to come back down to 75 again. It's very hard. I'm very glad I'm not trading this today. This is not clean. Well, here's your loss of value. So you're now losing value. You're now back inside the opening range. And if they lose this here, they rotate the whole thing because the chips are now back at 175. I mean, it's... Whoa. It's all on those names. If anyone is watching these chip names with me, you'll see what I'm talking about. How quickly we failed to get 180. We did a little inside bar, and then we went, okay, 175. Now we're down at previous day high. We lose that, we go previous day close. We lose that, we go 170. Things move very quickly when it's so condensed on one sector. And whoever asked me, would I buy up here? And I said no, and this is why. Hopefully this is helping you to see why, because the rotation can happen very, very quick when we're just bid side from one level. And I'd say if they can't reclaim VWAP here, we're going to rotate this whole thing. If they get stuck between these two, we can rotate back down 137s, 130s, and then all the way back down to the lows again. Here we go. So 175 tap now. SOXL, finding a bid on it for now. The fuck was that? That was that bid, was it? Mate, what a market. What a market. That was the 175 tap. That's what that was. It was a 175 tap on SOXL. This is what I mean. It's very, very hard here. Okay, you're starting to rotate now, current day's value. So what we're seeing here is no acceptance under previous day's value area low, no acceptance over previous day's value area high, no acceptance over previous week's point of control, and now a rotation of this is liable. And like I said, they should have done this down here, but chips caught a bid. If chips lose that bid, well, then we're going to know this is all froth. All right, here, back to VPOC here. Like I said, if you lose VWAP, you're going to go full rotation. Here's the rotation. Back to New York Open. This looks very, very heavy now. So do they now come and clean out the lows that they should have cleaned out earlier in the day? So if pops start to fail now, that's what you're looking for. So New York Open here. ES back to that 420. Look how quickly things changed. It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy how quick it changes. I think you'll probably get pops start to fail here. I doubt they save this down here. You guys are saying news. Let me have a look. National debt hits 39 trillion. I mean, we already knew that. Iran and Oman are discussing permanent Hormuz toll. It's nothing of importance there, really. What settings do I use to do my 0 DTE? They're not mine, my friend. They come from a company called Tanuki. Okay, so you're rotating range now, so I'd be watching to see if they fail 60 here. You have some imbalances here. Be very careful playing range, obviously, because we can rotate right back up again. But if they're going to reject up here, 60, these VWAP 60 to 80s, maybe they complete rotation. If not, they reclaim and they go again. And they just chop everyone to death. Here's the 60 push. There's the reaction at 60s. And the bears now will want to close under VPOC, under 20s. After reacting to 60s, they need to close under 20s. And then you should see low of day if they do that. Big if, but that's what they're looking for at the moment. It's a good rejection of 60s. Can they close under 20s and get you a move for low of day is the question. They're trying. Here's your 20s. They need to close under this. They really need to close under the 210s, the same level as earlier. That's what will really should firm this up for a wash, as if you come under the 210s. This is the same move we looked at this morning when they should have done it and they didn't. Chips, by the way, are right back to PDC. All right, here's your 210 test. It's coming. There's the 20s. Here's the 10s. You lose this, we should go low of day. They should have done this morning. It's horrible that they didn't do this morning, but there you go. Hopefully this is helping you. Here's the 210s. We should complete the auction down to low of day here. They should not be trying to hold this here, given the move that's just happened into the 60s. If they hold it here, it's quite an incredible save, to be quite honest with you. At 420s has got to let go on ES as well. I've just seen that. We've come back into it again. So that's a big options level. I am somewhat surprised you haven't already cleared out low of day. So much liquidity down there to clean out to 185. They're just flashing down there at 185. They want to get filled, but they're not getting it. Need a seller to walk down and just finish the auction lower. There you go. Come on. There you go. It's coming. There's the move under 200. You should get 185 and lower now. And you want to be covering into that and then holding runners in case we go into the sell day that we were looking for this morning underneath all of this. Here it comes. There you go. There's your low day. Sorry that they fucked around so much with that, folks. That's 2 days in a row that they've done that, but there you go. So 160 fail into low of day. There's your 160 fail, 260 fail into low of day we talked about. There's the 260 fail after they finish fucking around with it. There's your cover point. You pay yourself here and you can hold runners for this and this and this now. All right. And you're positioned well now. Look, you're 100 points on that trade. That took 4 minutes to get you that 100 points. 260 fell, look for low of day. There's your 100 points. Your runners now, you don't really want it to reclaim 200, certainly the 210s, where I said they would need to stay heavy. All right, so maybe you've got 20% left now. Hopefully they do this and this for you. And congrats if you got it. It's a nice trade. They fucked around with it today, though, I tell you. That was, I don't think, even though I'm calling this for you, I don't think I would have been able to actively trade that well, feeling the way I do. And you might get runners to really bleed. Look at SOXL now. Jesus fucking Christ. All right, it's under 170. They reject 170 here. If pops start to fail, I would watch SOXL now. 173, 174 pops to fail. 170 pops to fail. And you're looking for a trade down to 163, 161, 160. And this thing will get tanked. Where's Nvidia? Is it selling off with it? All right, Nvidia 2% down. There you go. Finally, they've done the move. They fucked around all morning for you lot. I'm really sorry that they did that to you. It's not very nice of them. Not very nice of them to do that to you, is it? Eventually, after they built the liquidity. Am I still holding SOXS? Yes. I paid myself a bit, but I am still holding. I can have a look what I'm up right now. Normally takes a little while to update on this one for some reason. Yeah, it would take a little while to update because I'm on the UK exchange. So once it updates, I'll put it on the screen. Locked in both accounts. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, so you want value, previous day value very low to stay heavy here up to 200s basically. You certainly don't want to reclaim with 920s. All right, so if we're going to go into an expansion model, we need rejections here. Otherwise, it's a look below, a poke into under previous day's value, and a failure because it means we come back inside. So there's previous day's value, there's previous week's value. We are still rotating previous week, previous day value. If you see a rejection up here and they start to make lower highs, lower lows, that's a good sign that we're going to start trying to move out of previous day's value. But you should have locked in, and now you just wait to see what happens. In the settings of Tanuki, what you use, because there's different options. Oh, no, it's just the 0DTE. Sorry, mate. Here. First, that's today's, right? That's today's. That's all I look at. I look at today's because that's what's most important when we're day trading. Is the 0DTE, which is today's. That's all I do. I don't change anything else. All right, so here's the retest. And this can be a look below and fail if they start to reclaim all of this up here. Here's the retest of 200. So you want 200, 210, 220 to stay heavy, and then you need new low of day. That's the plan here if you are looking to short this. That's a good first reaction in towards 200. So you want to see bears come in and slam this lower now. What you do not want to see is any absorption down here after already poking underneath previous day's value. You want to see this get rejected and slam lower now. There are bears here waiting to get filled up to 200, so we'll see. Are we going to see follow through today, or are we going to see a range right the way back inside? Well, SOXL is trying to find a bid back inside. We're about to find out. So SOXL holding pre-market lows, and it's going to come and test that 73 kind of level we talked about. So here's the lift to 200. This is where the bears are waiting right now. Remember, 200 to 220s, you will need to stay heavy if you are looking for a continuation lower. That's a good rejection there again. It's definitely bears up here. Can they get follow through is the question right now. All right, can we create this bear flag versus 200 to 220 for follow through, or is range held on a rotation again? Again, a lot is going to depend on the chips. This is a good look right now for you guys looking for this. This is fantastic. You just want follow through now. So there is someone trying to absorb the tape at 60s and 50s. Once he goes, you'll get follow through. He's here at 50s and 60s. If he moves out the way, you're boom time, I think, because he's got some pretty big size absorbing down here. What did he just absorb there? 143 lot and a 70. So it's about 250 lot absorbing here between 75 and 50. If he lets go, he'll get liquidated and you'll get the move to 100. He's right here right now. This is his level. Does he keep absorbing or does he let go? And he's still trying to absorb. Still trying to absorb. He can't get over 75 at the moment. He's going to get upset if he can't get that break. Remember, your short levels are 200 to 220. It's not down here. These are the breaks that you're looking for to confirm it. They might need a second leg higher at the moment with him there. Right, they're going to test him again. He's still there. I think you get 150 break, he's going to be in a lot of pain. He's still trying to hold 150, 160. There's a big boy at 150, 160 here. So there's a big buyer, big whale, trying to absorb the tape at 150, 160. It's all about whether he gets his way for a lift and he gets his rotation back inside, or the bears beat him and he gets forced to become a seller, and you probably get a flush to 100 if that happens. Here's the 150. He's still there at 150. He's still there at 150. Is he going to get out of the way? Is he saying, fuck this? Yep, he's starting to let go. So if you reject 150, 160 now, you're going to get 110s. 110s, 100. Here it comes. He might be in pain here. He's starting to not get his way here. And you can see him on the tape there at 150. This is the level now. If they reject 150, 160, he will be in a lot of pain and will probably get out of the position, I would imagine. It's a big under over now, 150, 160. You can see this battle. He's trying hard. He is trying hard. Relentlessly bidding. All this means to me is if this doesn't move higher, he's got so much size on, he's going to get really hurt. He's just come flying in there again. How big were you there? 240 lot there. Here they go. He's trying to bid. He's won this game for now, I think. If they get a 75 break, he can lift it to 220s, 235s. Amazing bid. That's some serious size down there. How do you find SOXL on TradingView? You type it in. He didn't exit there. Back to his level. Remember, his average price is 150, 160. He's around there. He didn't get his exit up there for that break, I don't think. ES is still under both VWAPs, under 420, under New York Open. SOXL holding 170s. Hasn't quite revisited. We would like to see it, ideally, revisit 73s and reject. That's what will really confirm this. This buyer's still here. He's moved up to 65s now. Now he's at 70s. 70s and 65s. He's trying to lift it. He's doing his best job. The best job he can right now to hold this up. Here he goes. Can he get his exit? He needs a lift through 200, basically, and then he can probably get some size off because there's liquidity up there for him to sell into. Remember, the short is 200, 220. That's your level. The breakdown where you get the flush is under 150. That was the move to 200. He's still on the bid. It's really impressive. He's still there. So he's trying to reclaim value. He's trying to hold previous week value area low and reclaim current days, previous day's value and reclaim current day's value. He's trying to get this back inside for a rotation. One of these. What's this big node? 220s, yeah. Okay, here we go. There's your 200s. He's still bidding. Here's the 220s. This is the important level now. If they send through this, they go right back to the other side. And this is SOXL testing that breakdown. So if we're going to fail, you're going to need SOXL failing these 173s. In my mind, that's where they need to fail, 173s. Get them off the bid. You would need like thousands of contracts to get them off the bid. I'm not, I can't do that. I'm not even executing right now. I want a lemsip and a cuddle in bed right now, mate. The last thing I want to do is put risk on. All right. He's still bidding. He's moved up to 210s now. All right, here's the 73 test, SOXL. This is it. It's coming up right here, right now. This is decision point for the market. Do we fade this, or is it a full recovery? This is your decision point. This is where the market has to make a decision now, I would say, around here. Little rejection there on SOXL for now. Nothing major. But first tap, they sold into. We hit 173s and we sold into. About half a point down from it. Yeah, they're starting to sell into that at the moment. If they can't recover that, that's your key indication right now. That's your over-under on the market, I would say, 173s on the chips. They're still adding liquidity higher here. I wouldn't like seeing that as a bear. These guys up at 65s. You want them to be walking down, not sitting up there. Initial balance set, it is. Okay, here you go. Good rejection, 173s now. 70 cents down off it. You want these sellers above to walk down. For you guys who are bearish looking for like a rotation lower, you want the sellers to walk down and force price back under 150 to force that guy to liquidate. What you don't want is to, if we start bidding here, if you were bearish, if you missed this move here and you're looking for this move here, right, you need this to reject and you need to come under this and 150 for a melt. The danger right now is if they hold this, we go back inside value again, and this can just keep dropping. This would be the second day, right, of this. Right, that's the danger. If we can't vacate this area. But so far, 73s, 173s, perfect rejection, looks good. Can you see follow through? That's the question mark. Do we go into an expansion market or do we stay in a rotation market? What does sellers walking down look like? Let me show you. Starting to happen. Starting to happen. Where's Bookmap? See these guys here? See these horizontal lines who are chasing price down now, right? They're trying to hold price lower. These are all sellers trying to stop price coming back above 34s. Now these sellers were up here. See all this orange? They moved and chased price lower, which is what you want to see. If we're being defensive, if you're a seller up here and we're looking for price to trade lower, we want these sellers to protect here, right? Think of it, I don't know what you'd talk about it. In football, it'd be like, you know, if this is your back four, this is your back four pressing up, right? Not letting strikers in behind them. They're pressing up the pitch, holding the offside line, I guess is a good way to put it. Most of you probably don't watch football. She's like, what the fuck are you on about, Alex? Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, it's a back four pressing up, saying, no, you're not coming in behind. I don't know what the equivalent would be in American football or stuff. I have no idea. That would be your D line. I don't know. Not doing an all-out blitz, but doing like a hard press, rather than like what do you call it when you retreat into the backfield because you're trying to stop the pass over, but instead you're like pushing forward because you're trying to stop the run, whatever that is called. It's a too deep safety in American football. There you go. Cover 2, zone. There you go. You guys are all teaching me something. All teaching me something. All right, so this is what we talked about. What you wouldn't want to see is this be held. This be held. Why? Because what this is saying is we can't get below that. We can't sell below value, and we've just held previous day's value again and held current day's value again. So the danger now is they've held this. They can rotate back to value area high now because sellers didn't get their way because they want this. They can rotate back to value area high, which is previous day point of control now. And we're back to 173 again on the chips. It's all based on that right now. We're midpoint of the range as well. If we think about initial balance, we're just hanging out at the mid. Do I see what hummingbirds where I am? Yeah, all the time. Outside my window, every walk I go. There's thousands of them where I live. Yeah, thousands of them. What do I mean by value area? Value is where 70% of volume takes place. Currently, right, 70% of volume takes place here. Here's your big node. That's the biggest value area, which is point of control for the day. This is current day value area high. This is current day value area low. It is also previous day value area low and previous week and previous day point of control. So our rotation is in here. Bears, all right, bears are hoping and failing now. They were hoping to get this to rotate under value. They were hoping to get into a more of a trending situation to get down into these, maybe these. They failed. They just failed to get outside of value. Bulls just did exactly what we said if you're a bear you wouldn't want to see, would be a hold of value. They held it. Now they can come right back up to the top side. They're going to rotate value. So their target now be 85s. And if they get back above this, they will come for this, which would be 370s. And above this, they will go and try and rotate to previous week value. We're just in a rotation. This is Alex's least favorite market to trade. I'm glad I'm ill today. It's stopping me doing anything. Well, I already look at the mag, mate. It's not like I've stopped looking at the mag. When will I stop looking at SOXL? When we dump the fucking shit out of it and the market rotates out of it and becomes more interested in the mag again. I mean, I can't put a magic number on it, but like, answer me this. Is the mag in alignment right now? No, Apple's trying to hold on. The rest is selling. So why are we pushing up? Why are we pushing up if the mag's selling? Oh. All right. Oh. It's not up to me when we stop looking at this. It's up to the hedge funds. When they stop looking at this, I'll stop looking at it. Right? When they stop looking at it, I'll stop looking at it. But until that point, you know, I can't really focus too much on these names when the market doesn't seem to care about them right now. What it really cares about is this guy. We've talked about this, haven't we? Look, this guy. Who caused the squeeze in NQ? Look at this. Look at NQ. Oh, they look very similar. Let's look at Tesla. Oh, fuck. That doesn't look anything like it. Let's look at Microsoft. No, that doesn't look anything like it either. All right. Let's look at Nvidia. Even though it's broken out, that has way more support as well. Okay, let's look at Meta. Oh, no, that doesn't look anything like the NQ either. All right, so market doesn't care about these right now. So we don't pay as much attention to them. Like, I can't give you the answer timeline. Phone up Jamie Dimon, ask him, hey, mate, when are you going to start selling chips and start rotating back into some like decent large cap names again. Like, because if you've got a direct line with him, I'd love to know, mate, because I'm done with this shit as well, buddy. Like, I wish I knew. I wish I knew the answer, my friend. I wish I knew the answer. The answer is when they're done with it, right? Classic British sarcasm, yeah, exactly. The answer is just when they're done with it. And I wish I knew. Like, honestly, I wish I knew. When they're done with it, we'll be done with it. All right, look at this dance continuing. What a load of shite. What a load of shite this is right now. Back to value area low. So ping-ponging. Very tight here, value area low and point control. I've got a feeling, this is my feeling what's going to happen. It's a gut feeling. It's not based on price action or anything. This is my gut feeling what's going to happen. Historically, when a new chair member comes in, we sell off about 13%. Okay, we've got a new head of Fed coming in. All right. Historically, between now and October, right, we call it May go away. Between now and October, in a midterm year, we also sell off over 10%. And what I'd also say is, I feel like we've priced in best possible scenario. So it would not surprise me, even if everything in Iran ends and we go back to normal, that we get a sell the news event and a cooling of the market. It wouldn't surprise me to see that, because statistically, everything suggests that's going to happen, right? Statistically, midterm year, new Fed, post-war inflation, everything is kind of suggesting that will happen. So hopefully that is what happens between now and October. Why am I saying hopeful? It's not because I'm a bear. It's because A, it gives us better opportunity to buy back into the market. B, it gives the market a chance to get more breadth. If semis start to cool down, right, and we rotate into some of the other names, the market becomes stronger in general, because it means more of the names are in an upcycle. That's what I'd hope would happen. That's what statistically should happen. I would say recently this market is giving two fingers at statistically. All right, pump up, pump up, pump up, pump up. SOXL back over the 73s now. We're just sort of glued around these 5 days right now. 5-day moving averages. We seem to be kind of glued around them at the moment. We're starting to hold this shelf, rotating this thick, choppy shelf here. I don't think there's edge in this market right now. None. You're not in an extreme. The easiest trade was that 160 down. That was it. And then hold runners. Nothing. Now we've lost edge. We're right in the midpoint of everything, really. I would say on the hourly, we're holding dips. Right, if we think about this breakout, this grey box is still holding. This low volume node, that's holding on the hourly. We're not finding acceptance above this. So we're just doing this. That's all we're doing. And like I talked about, I wouldn't be surprised if we start doing this. A broadening of it to really hurt a lot of people. That's what I think. And it doesn't have to happen today, but I think that's possible. Unless something changes, unless we get like a proper shift in the market. A shift, what do I mean by that? Like a shift in tone. Do we have Apex discounts that include PA accounts? What? How are you gonna? What do you mean a discount on a PA account? If it's a PA account, you've already activated it. What do you mean? Or do you mean a discount on the activation fee? I don't believe there's a discount on the activation fee at the moment. I don't think so. All right, ES showing a weaker hand here. It's failing 24-hour VWAP. It's failing New York VWAP. It's failing to get over the New York Open, but it's holding 420s. So it's showing a weaker hand here. SPY's failing that 739. Qs are failing its VWAP right now. It's struggling to get above it. And we are midpoint of the range. How you reacted after tariffs last year, how you split investment and buy the dip, chips, energy, small caps, if we do a 30% again. I don't think we will do a 30% again. I really don't. And it'd be fantastic if we did. I don't see that happening. How to split? Mate, the safest way to do it is to split it into ETFs. Some dividend-based, some metal-based, some tech-based, some broader, some whole market-based. That's probably going to be the easiest way. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, so buying individual names is probably the harder way to do it if you're looking at buying a 30% drop, if you want to become efficient in terms of risk. What are the chances you hook one of us up with a free course? Well, there's one of you has a chance. There's a competition on my X account right now for a free course, 150k Lucid account, and a 34-inch widescreen monitor. Other than that, no. not for the beginner to advanced course, if that's what you mean. On X, yeah, on my X platform. Okay, still chopping here. Still seeing spiders reject those levels, but we are still chopping this node. Look at this node. Once this node lets go, maybe they revisit the lower side, but we're not seeing that yet. You're seeing a rotation of this. Once this node lets go, maybe they come revisit 80s. This is your node right now that they're chopping in. If they lose this, again, I don't know if I'd be trading that short side inside range, but you can revisit 80s. Remember, the big seller, I would say his average is down here, 50s to 60. The big seller, the big buyer. So if you want to be really mental, you can look for that. I would hate that trade inside value, but maybe you set something up. It looks like they're going to try and do it now. They're going to try and leave that range and get down to value area low for the day. You would need to see this candle here sell. You need to see this candle reject and sell. SOXL, you need to see follow through. It's set the lower high. You want to see follow through on it. X says I haven't posted anything. Jake, I definitely have. I set the competition like a week ago. If you probably go to my highlights, it would be there. Right, I will post it in chat. I definitely have done it. It's in my highlights. How do I share this? Here you go. So here's a move. That candle rejected like we just talked about. So you'd be covering some here and then holding to see if they break. Remember, 150s, 160s is the level. I think this is a very risky trade. I'll be very honest with you. But if you guys are adamant on trading inside the range, that would be the trade. Right, there's the post. I just posted it there. So why did that work? Because we left the high volume node and we've gone down to the low side of value. Look how they're still bidding on value. They are still holding previous day's value area low, current day's value area low. Right, so they're still bidding this. And remember, the buyer is absorbed here. This is where the big boy has been. Right, in here, there's been a whale so far today. Until he lets go, you're not going to see follow through. And this is a big hourly RBS zone. So they're still supporting it here. So if you didn't take profit there, where I said you have to take profit here, you're already a little bit upset with yourself, right? Because it's range, it's going to rotate. You need SOXL to break 170 and make a new low day. That's when this thing will really get the party started for you. Right, so here's your chance to take a partial if you haven't already. And I'll tell you now, the big buyer, his average price is 160. I can see him on the delta. So 160, you need price beneath 160, then the party can start getting started, right? 160 is where he is, right here. This boy, standing out like a sore thumb. Look at him smashing the buy button down there. That's a big rejection candle down there. So you need price below that. Sentiment keeps changing. Sentiment is not changing, mate. Look, sentiment's not changing. We're inside value. That's your sentiment. We failed both sides of value today. We failed to print Globex above value, and we failed to print New York session below value. That is all the sentiment is. It's called building value. It's called rotation. It's called chop. We vacate value, things change. But that's where you're at right now. Right, 170 test here, SOXL. Let's see if you get acceptance under it. Let's see if you move under 160s. At the moment, he's still bidding it, isn't he? You can see every time we come down to 160s, look at the reaction. Mr. Bid is down there at 160s. Should we wait for a break and retest of 160, or is it too risky? Yeah, I mean, look, the thing that you have to understand is if you're going to play follow through, you're still in previous week. So this is an H1 RBS zone, all right? And if you're going to play for that, you better know that a whale can be down here. It's a very tricky market right now. If you zoom out on the H1, where is it? Look at what we have here. Look how we've built liquidity. You have to understand this. Someone's saying it's changing, it's changing. It's not, right? Here's last week's value. Here's the current week's value. Here's support, 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 resistance, 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 support, support. This is a big area. All right. What is that area? Oh, it's at previous week's value area low. So you got previous day above it. We're not getting acceptance below previous week. The same's happening the other side. Can we get above this or above this? No. Right? So we are building out in here. Eventually, we will get some form of meaningful break. Probably that or that. This is how they build liquidity in the market. We cannot get up here or down here without a lot of participants caught in here. The same as here, look. Dunk below, look below and fail, reclaim, create the value, trap sellers into the level, and away we go. Okay, trap buyers over the level, reject that level, and away we go. Trap sellers under this level. Remember, this is where we bid on Monday or Tuesday, and away we go. All right, we're in a liquidity building stage. Even if you look right now, just make it simple for yourself. Right, look up here. What does that say? High time frame. Oh, we're in a liquidity building stage of the market. Oh, that's what we're in. Not every day is going to be a very nice trend. Oh, guys. What does Globex mean? Okay. Globex is your overnight session, your globe session, your Asia, London session. No worries. How do I get those buy sell indicators? Which ones here? They're part of the flow zones. Do I pay attention to equal highs? On higher time frames, yeah. I mean, it's why this morning I said I felt like we'd run the lows here, because you had these. I felt like they would have to run this before they thought about doing anything. Remember here, I said they're going to have to run these lows. They're not going to leave it like that without any excess at all. And the chop continues in the chop zone, the thick node. Right. If we don't move soon, we're going to have to do some form of lesson. I did say I'd get off early today. We need to get these likes up, though. Over 1,600 of you have not hit that like button. We get up to 1,000 likes, we're doing Apex giveaway. Like always. Like always, we do a giveaway. There is, by the way, a 90% sale on right now on Apex. Oh, great. Ninja frozen. Hello, Ninja. I have to do it. Task manager here. Sorry, folks. Might need to install Ninja again. It might be that time. It's been a while and it seems to be struggling a little bit more. Probably got something bad in there somewhere. There we go, it's better. All right, still chopping and rotating that node. Am I taking tomorrow off? Not at the moment, but you know, if I'm very, very ill, I will. New to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Do I have a video on fibs? In the course I do, for sure. I don't know if I have one for free on YouTube. It's been a while. You'd have to have a look. Maybe I do. I'm genuinely not sure. You'd have to have a look on my channel. New York view up, anchored to 9:30 open. Yeah, exactly. It's basically your ETF view up, right? It's the same as the ETF view up. All right, big buyer coming in up here at 22s, not getting his way right now, looking for that breakout. We're still rotating this high volume node. Nothing's changed. SOXL, well, it's looking a bit spicy down here. It's coming back down to the 170 for the third time today. At the moment, they haven't been able to break 170 on SOXL. They haven't been able to break the pre-market low on SOXL. They are still making higher lows versus pre-market. If that changes, though, you will get a shift in tone in this market. ES climbing back up, just dancing in the midpoint of the range. Again, I don't see any edge right now in this market. There's a lack of edge, in my humble opinion. Let's have a look at what news we've got coming tomorrow. Is there a reason for them to pin this? Friday? No, not really. Not really. Every poke up's failing, but there is a grind back up. It's very slow. It's very slow out here. Market's gone to sleep. We need something to move this market at the moment. Right, they're starting to try and base over this node now. Now, if they base over this node, they're going to try and revisit here. 270s, and then this grey box again. Acceptance over the grey box, they're going to come up to value area high from yesterday. This looks woeful. Absolutely woeful right now. How are we doing on the likes? A few more likes, nowhere near though. Alex, when's it okay to increase position size? As soon as I try to increase trade size, it doesn't go that well. Any suggestions for your time? Are you talking about increasing your initial position size, or are you talking about adding into a winner? Because they're two different things. They are two very, very different things. Adding to a winner. All right, adding to a winner. You want to be adding to a winner when it proves to you that it is doing what you want. Okay, and not before. And you also only want to do it before it is taken the low-hanging fruit. Okay, so let's just assume today we're in a trend. We're in a bearish trend, right? Forget the value area. Let's just assume we're in a bearish trend, and let's just say we're targeting this and we're targeting this as an example. Okay, so you get the 3 peak drive formation, right? And we get that 260 fail. Was it here? 260 fail. So your original size goes on here. And let's say that's 3 contracts. Could be micros, doesn't matter what it is. That's 3 contracts, right? That's your core position. Okay, you drive down. You take 1 off here. You've paid yourself 1 here. Your core position is still here. You wait. Okay, you start to see failures. All right, I'll add maybe 1 back on, maybe 2 back on. Your core position is not going to move. It might move a tiny bit to here, mightn't it? You're not really increasing your risk by adding back on here. So you're back to full size. Okay, and if this starts to break down to here, you can take 1 off again, and then you can look for a rejection of this. Maybe you put 1 on again, or maybe it's moved so far down now that you can put 2 on or 3 on and increase your size here, and now your risk is maybe here because it shouldn't transfer back into that range. And then as you wash down to next target, maybe you're taking 2 off here, leaving you with 1 left, and now you're just runners only because you're not going to add down here. The key is that it doesn't take the low-hanging fruit out before you add on. If you start adding on to a trade, let's say the same setup, and you're 3 on here, and you don't add here, and it breaks down, okay, and you take 1 off there, and it keeps going, all right, and it gets very close to your target down here, and it either takes it or it almost takes it, and it does a micro pullback, and you get aggressive down here, and it leaves that liquidity and comes back up, you're going to be very upset, right? So it's all about, does it hit the key level? Where is your core position? How can you manage risk? When you add size on, you don't want to be moving your core position down past where you want to manage risk. All right. So if we're short here, the next time we get short, we want to be able to risk this swing high without adding any more risk. Let's say your risk is $1,000 on the trade, for example. All right. So if you're short here, you're risking this. You add back on, you're probably still only risking $500. You break under here, you add back on. Okay, after taking 1, you can probably risk to the midpoint of this, and it's still probably only going to be $500, right? And you're in the money now, probably $300 because you've paid yourself. Yeah, so it's about the risk management of that trade and about the trade proving itself to you, going in your direction. Is there a reason you mainly trade on TradingView? I don't trade on TradingView. I teach on TradingView. I do not trade on TradingView. I do not execute on TradingView. I teach on TradingView. Why? Because it's great for teaching on, because I can flip between charts very quickly. Am I in a trade? No. Mike, I will not be trading today. I'm not feeling well enough to execute. We've given 1 good trade today, I think, which was here to here, and now we're chopping. And I think I tried to tell you 1 here to here, and it didn't work out. And I said you wanted very tight risk because if they reclaim, they squeeze. That's it. that's all we've had today so far. We're just chopping around, and I won't be executing today. Where would I be interested in the long or short? At the extremes, very simply. Here, and really here, maybe even here. Okay, so if we're going to stay in a range, you want to be fading edges. So maybe if they do something like this, there's a buyback. Maybe if they let go of this and they can firm up 1560s, there's a bigger sell down. Really depends what the broader market does. Like I keep saying, 170 SOXL continues to be key. Where are we trading right now? 170. If they let go of that and they let go of pre-market lows, you probably get a flush move on the Qs, because all of the mag is now red. We are red on the SOXL. We are losing 170s. If we let go of value, it's a big if, but if we let go of value, we might get an expansion down into this block, and underneath this block, the next block. But it really depends on the tone of the broader market right now. Is today a D shape? Well, in the New York session, yeah, it is. It's an awful D shape. It's literally like a cock and balls. I mean, that is crap. That is a nice D shape would just be nice and rounded like that. So you can see most of the volume taking place in here. What do I use to execute? Ninja. I use Tradeify for my... I'm going to watch this here. You're losing 170s now. All right. And remember, the buyer today is at 159s. Just call it 160s. If we get under 160s, that buyer is going to feel pressure because he's a big boy buyer. That's the biggest buyer of the day, is at 160. Remember the whale that was absorbing 160? That's his level. 170s let go on SOXL. If you see follow through under 160 now, this thing will start to tank. So here comes the test of 160. These are the levels now, folks. I'm telling you, it's the same as earlier today. You've lost 210s, you've lost 220s, which are the edges up here that we were thinking about earlier. If you lose 160s, the big boy buyer is going to get upset because he has absorbed a lot down there today. You can see that first test in there, right into his level, instant reaction. He's still there. What you've got to think is, if Mr. Whale has been a big buyer and he gets liquidated, all right, if he doesn't get his way, all right, if he's been looking for a rotation and he hasn't got out and he stops out, we're going to have all the big volume become sell side. Right, he's going to flip to sell side if we start to find acceptance under his price. Here's 160 test. This is it. This is what is important to know their levels. Now he's still here for now, and he's bidding all the way down to 100 at the moment. New low of day coming here on ES. New low of day here coming on SPY. New low of day here on SOXL. You should be watching that pre-market break. 167.50 break on SOXL. It's game over. If they break and stay heavy there. It's looking good here. This buy is under pressure right now. So he's going to have to make a decision very, very soon. Stick or twist. He's going to have to make a decision very, very soon. Stick or twist here. Is he going to endlessly bid this, or is he about to get very, very upset? It looks like he's about to be very, very upset, doesn't it? Bye-bye, Mr. Buyer. All right, and 160 is your level now. And you should be looking for low of day. If you were taking these shorts, cover some here and see if you can find acceptance down into this. But look at the 160 letting go. That's your important level. That's the buyer's bid. That's where he's stuck. 160 is where he's now stuck. So you do not want price to come back above 160. You want to keep him under pressure. Look at this test of 160 now. We're testing him, we're testing him, we're testing him. It's a big, big level, this. If he becomes a seller, flush. If he becomes a seller, flush. And the moment he can't get back above it, he's bidding 37, 25, 15-ish, and 100s. SOXL, yeah, into its pre-market lows. So SOXL 170 is your level. So back above his level. Now you have to watch this previous day value area low. Do they sell it, or are you going to go right back to 200, 210 again? So sellers here are stacking up at 75 to 90s. It's going down. I mean, maybe. It very well might, my friend. But like, you have to not hope. You have to play what's in front of you. You're losing 160 again. I think you should see lower day now. He's probably going to give up. he should probably give up here. You just don't want sellers attacking too low here. You just want him to liquidate rather than sellers coming in. It looks good though. I think you probably get IB low here. And then just see if there's any expansion back down to previous week value area low. Basically, 29,100 would be your next target underneath IB low if you get it. Should look pretty good right now. New low date ES. So ideally that stays heavy versus VWAP. And ideally SOXL drops down under these pre-market lows here, which is where we're trading right now at the pre-market lows. You're back above 160 again. Be careful. Be careful. You've got divergence here. So they just bid pre-market lows, SOXL. So you want 170 to stay heavy SOXL now. My bones are starting to hurt my body. I hope I haven't got a virus here. Yeah, it's honestly it's the chips. You got to watch the chips right now. That's why you've got relative strength. Once they let go of pre-market, if we see chips fade 168s, and certainly if they lose 16650s, then I think you see 163s because they're still in yesterday's range. But MAG's starting to sell heavy now. So we'll see. But you should have locked some in, and hopefully you get an extension. But like we said, this level here is important, as is this level here. We're still technically inside value. We're inside current day's value. We're not finding acceptance outside of it yet. It doesn't mean we can't. But if they come right back up here, you're going to be upset. And he's still trying to bid 60s. He's back on the tape at 60s now. Yeah, the buyer's still there at 60s. And one of you just said it as well. So he's trying to find the move back inside of range. Wishy-washy, wishy-washy. Range trader's dream right now. $60's still the level, I'm telling you. We're thin under that. Yeah, 60s is his level. It's a good hold. So here comes a 170 check on the chips. If they can't get back inside that, well, there may be pressure for a new low of day, but we'll see. I'm just watching it down here. Well, that dip just held previous day's value area low. You're not under 160 now. That buyer is pretty comfortable. All the time you're back inside value for the day and previous day. There is a rotation back up to point of control possible, just like we did earlier this morning. Here it comes. So rotation back up to point of control possible now because they didn't find acceptance under 160. Here they come, right back upside. Here's the 170 check on SOXL. And here they go. Here's the rotation. Rotation, 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 rotation. So still no acceptance. And there you go. Squeeze out. So all the sellers who came in at the lows trying to force price down got squeezed out. Mr. Gobble the price up just got paid, didn't he? So endless. He has an endless bid down here, clearly at 160. He's like, I can take as much of this as you want. I will keep gobbling. And look at that reclaim of 170 on SOXL. Again, it's literally a one pony market right now. We're watching one horse and it's dictating everything. It's dictating everything. This Wales Baron, maybe. I mean, it could be anyone, couldn't it? I mean, we did say it's a H1 RBS zone, that grey box. Like, it's a very hard trade right now where they build this liquidity out between the two H1 zones. We went over it, I don't know, 15 minutes ago. And my bones are starting to hurt. I don't like it. I hope this is not going to make me go downhill for a week. and the range rotation now. So back up to value area high on the day, probably clean out these stops, I would imagine. And then if they get through value area high, back up to previous week, previous day point of control. And if they get through that, back up here again. And I mean, wishy-washy, wishy-washy. 100 points there in 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes, back up. Kind of surprised they've done that move and not cleared out 55s now. Maybe they come for the 55s now and run the stops. Looks like they're trying to. They should pop these stops here, really. They should come and run these guys out. They've done the work. They've trapped everyone at the lows. They should really come and run these guys out now and lift. Here they're trying. They're trying. That VWAP's key. No. Really? What have they left there? Ah, there's no excess. What are they doing? Just go and finish the auction. ES has done it. You're not going to do it, NQ? Really? Well, divergence again. ES clearing out the stops and Q's not clearing any stops out. Back into chop zone. Kind of bizarre that they wouldn't finish that auction after such a strong move. Book's gone to sleep now. We've gone still again in this zone. No one wants to play ball in this zone. Right, do they come up and clean these stops out? They should really come and clean all the stops out at 55s. But you have divergence. You're above 170. They should really, NQ, you should go and clean these stops out. You've done so much hard work. Here it goes. Go on, just go and do it. What's with the faff the last few days? It's all there. 50, 55, 60, 62, 75. It's all there to take. I'm not really sure what the hesitation is. Even if they're going to come lower, they should really come and clean one side out again. What I'm talking about is all these guys here. Everyone's sell stops is here. So I'm kind of surprised they haven't just done this. Even if they're going to do this later, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done this. ES has done that. Because they caught down here, they've come back up. If they lose this, they come straight back down without doing any damage, which doesn't make sense. If you're going to do this, take the swing shorts out who are trying to play for this, take them out first, then do it. If I was a market maker, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be like, right, I'm going to make sure the shorts don't win, and then I'm either going to send it or I'm going to drop it right back down again. But I would be taking this out first. They've done it on ES. They've already taken it out. $170 key again here. SOXL. Does it hold 170 on the dip? So it broke above it. Does it hold it on the dip? I am very surprised we haven't cleaned the stops out before. If they flush down without cleaning it out, it's going to kind of make any mean reversion trade very, very hard to take for you guys later in the day, because it means that they've left low-hanging fruits up there. They should go and clean out before they do anything else here, if they're going to act appropriately. Here they go. They're trying. Here they go. This is what they should be doing the whole time. Go on. Go and do it. It's 5 points. What are you doing? Go and send it. Through 55 up to 65s and then make your decision. Here they go. Do it. Go and do it. Otherwise, I can't teach them anything for the next setup. You're going to make everything impossible. Go and do it. There's so much liquidity here. Just go and take it. What a piece of shit. Go on. They probably absolutely send it in a second. They're going to fanny, and then just go. No way. No way. All these stops. No way you leave them in like that. No way. Don't believe you, NQ. I don't believe you. I don't believe you're going to do that. Right, here they go. 50s. They should go and clear 55s for a quick wick up, and then they'll make a decision afterwards. They're just looking to run these stops, and then they'll make a decision afterwards. Did we wick it there? We got very close. They're on the book up here. They should just come and fill all these lot. Just a quick little send up. Do I think like the divergence are caused by the difference in retail participants? No, it's got nothing to do with retail participants. Retail participants make up 8% of the market or something. No way. Divergences are caused by what is inside the index. I say it to you guys all the time. It's not caused by some fucking SMT bullshit algorithm. Understand what you're trading. You're trading the S&P, you're trading 500 stocks. You're trading the NQ, you're trading 100 stocks. Those 100 stocks are tech-based. They're very heavily weighted, all right, to the Mag 7. Outside of the Mag 7, they're very, very heavily weighted to AI stocks. Chip names. What's running? Chip names. We go over it every day. You think retail control an SMT? What you want to call an SMT, just a divergence. Get out of it, man. Don't make me laugh. Do not make me laugh. Is short a reasonable trade up here if they take out their stops? Well, if you're looking at range, I mean, if they ran these and then like they don't have to run it that much, but if they run it and fail and then come back under here, yeah, then a rotation again. It's kind of disgusting that they left this in. It's very close. I mean, did we take it? No. We should run 56s, right? What I'd like to see them do is do this, and then they can make a decision if they're going to do this or they're going to run it, dump, hold, put, and puke the whole thing out again, like here. But the fact that these are in here makes me think they're going to drive through it all. That's what it makes me think right now. It's a good hold of 170. SOXL, how are we doing for time? I'm surprised I'm going to make it through lunch, but I am. Or to lunch, I should say. Here it comes. So there's a big buyer keeps getting stuck here at 50. Once he gets in the money, they should squeeze out to 55, 56, and then 65, and then maybe they come and test 80. Here we come. Can this buyer get himself in the money? So much liquidity here to clean out. 50s. Did they clean it there? They got very close. There, they cleaned it now. All right, so they finally cleaned it. There you go. There's the excess. And now they make their decision of if they're going to go high of day or run the stops and come back inside. So this is a good auction. This is what you want to see. This is correct. To complete the auction, take all the stops out there. Like I said, if I was a market maker, even if I wanted to make price move lower, given the fact that a whale absorbed here and we came up, we should then, if we think about all sellers are up here trying to get a breakdown. They don't get their breakdown, so where's their stop? Here. So what should we do? Run their stop. Remember, the market maker's game, make sure everyone loses. Okay, so now sellers have lost. So what's the next option? Well, if we're going to pump, it's to build liquidity here and complete the auction to here. And if this is a trap to dump, it's to run the stops, come back under, and go and do the move that these guys wanted first time round. And that's the game. And that's especially the game in range because it is a game of liquidity. What's the box indicator? There is no box indicator. I draw them on myself, mate. Everyone asks that. There's no. You need to get out of this mindset of having something do everything for you. Learn to read the charts and draw high probability areas and important levels on the charts and trade around those areas. Learn to do that. Because what's the guarantee that AI or an indicator would do it properly for you? Not a lot. Okay, look, so we're starting to lose the bid after clearing the stops here. So we're back into chop zone. Nothing's changed. The one that says trend bull bear liquidity. This is part of the Flow Zone Pro. Oh. Joe, thank you. Finally made sense. I think I'm finally getting that. That's awesome. Nice, mate. All right, so destroying one side, and you just got to see, remember, this is the high volume node. They will chop in here for a while, and what they do next is what's important. They will chop in here for a while, all right, how they have done all day. If they find acceptance, they're doing this. If they don't, this was a stop run to then come and puke the whole thing out. But the difference is now is this is held. Right? Did we take the pre-market lows? No. Remember I said we need to take the pre-market lows. We came under 170, instantly found the bid. Now, if they hold this bid here, where do you think they're going? Back to here, right? If they come under here, we're going to see downside pressure. If we liquidate 170s, these are the stops from the last few days, and this is when we can get into these levels. This matters right now because we're pinned in. All right, we are pinned in for 2 sessions. We have a failed break back in range. So if this is a spring, maybe we see this move. Doesn't have to be today. That will be the sign of the market wanting a bigger pullback if we start to lose the bid on the stronger names. All right, I'm going to get some meds here. How are we doing on the likes? Can we just get this 100 likes up? And when I come back, we can do a giveaway. So you got to click the thumbs up button on the stream, folks. And when I come back, if you've got me to 1,000 likes, we're doing an Apex giveaway. All right, I'm going to get some drugs because I'm not feeling good at all. All right, be right back. Okay. Did we do it, team? We did. Thank you.
he'd lived like a rock star, he's immune suppressed now that he isn't a young pup. Mate, you couldn't be more right. When I say I partied hard, I fucking partied hard. So it's paying its toll now. Definitely. Definitely paying its toll. You got to enjoy life. I'm not 30 anymore. Yeah, exactly. I fucking wish I was. I wish I was. All right, 170 test coming. Let's do the giveaway here. Half an hour left till lunch. Let me set this up for you folks. So seller coming back into the market here, trying to force price lower underneath this node. How you react here will become important. 170 will become important. Here's the wash of 170. And we'll see if this was the stop out. We'll see. They have to make a decision. Giveaways. Give away now. All right. FZT. Type it once in chat. Please don't spam, guys. All right. If you spam, you automatically get pulled out by Nightbot. So then you don't get a chance of winning. You only need to type it once. I'll give you guys a few minutes to do that. And then we will pull the winner when you're done. All right. So back to this node. If you lose this node, it would be the same play as earlier, except I'd potentially be more dangerous now that they've swept the stops at the high. 170 is your key level on the SOXL, as we know, and you're trading right at that core level, finding a bid there for now. Like I said, if they let go, if it's a swing, if they've run the swing, this is how I would do it. If I was them, I'd be selling this now. If I was a market maker and my game was to inflict max pain, I would have done exactly what they just did. Right, I'd be the whale here. I'd run the stops. I'd liquidate my position. I'd come back and then I'd let it sell through. That's what I would do if I was a market maker. I'm not a market maker, but that's what I would do. That would be the most scenario possible, wouldn't it? Be the biggest fuck you possible, and that's their job, right? Their job is to frustrate people, make them get the wrong side of the trade, and then use their liquidity. That's literally, quite literally their job. Give you guys a few more minutes here. Man, I think I'm burnt out as well. I think I am so burnt out. I need like a long vacation. Like a good 2-week vacation. I'd love to go and see my friends and family. I'd love to go and see my 2 goddaughters. I'm about to become an uncle again next week as well. So I definitely due a trip back to Europe. All right, 170 is still being bid on the chips for now. You can just set a price alert. Set a price alert, 170 and what's that low? 168, right? On SOXL, just set a price alert there. It will help you. Look at this ping pong around the 200. All right, let's pull this winner. Sorry, guys. Pull this winner. 5, 4. Lots of you spamming, getting pulled out. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Jay McKean. Jay McKean. Are you here, Jay McKean? Let me know you're here. Or, yeah, it's definitely Jay McKean. That's your name. Are you here, my friend? Let me know you're here in chat. They are wish-washing this around while they make a decision. Nice, mate. All right, you know the deal. Send me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged in and logging into your YouTube. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. Yesterday, one of you guys in chat tried to scam, and I caught you, and I'm not going to call you out. Don't do it, all right? Don't go and try and Photoshop a profile so that you win, because all you're going to do is I'm going to make this harder and harder for you to enter. All right, don't be that person. All right, if you didn't win today, just enter tomorrow. Don't try and scam other people out of their winnings, please. All right, please. Please, 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 please. Okie dokie. Yeah, so info@flowzonetrader.com, please, Jay, and we'll go from there. Right, how long left? Still got 25 minutes left. They're still chopping this about a little bit. We're under the 170s now, and if 170 is sold here, then I think maybe you get a low of day break on the SOXL. It depends now. Are we going to rotate into the mag? We are. Look at that. Apple and Google finding a bid. This is going to be impossible to trade today, folks. If they don't go in unison, I think it's going to be very hard for you to do much with it. Like I said, I don't think there's a whole lot of edge. I would be selling this. If I was the market maker, I'd be selling it. Not as a trader. If I was a market maker, I'd be doing this move here and then maybe coming back later. That's what I would do if I was them. That is the smart move to do. There's the 170 rejection, SOXL, but no follow through still. Like I said, you're starting to see a bit of a rotation and bid in some of the mag. What do they do into lunch? Do they let it go? Remember that buyer at 160, he's still in the money. You need to get under that for real pressure. $170 reclaim. They're just going to chop this all day. Buyer coming in here at 200 now, trying to support the bid. It's amazing that they can just support back and forth. For what, like 50-point range? I'm kind of surprised that they're willing to do that and not look for a bigger move. Is it possible to see the big players in footprint? Well, there's not a whole lot. It's just this big boy down here, right, at the 160s. That's about it. Not seeing a lot of other big boys. There's a little buyer caught up here at 250s. Your 90-point rotation. That's it. You don't have big range. You don't have big follow through. You don't have anyone hammering in today. Range trader's dream. Yeah, it is. It is a range trader's dream. I would agree. No, it's got nothing to do with AI, guys. 0, 0, 0, 0. All right, back to test this player again. And do they break out? ES back to VWAP, still just tightly coiled, still rejecting this 250 here where that player is caught. I am very surprised they haven't run everyone out to the downside after running upside, but we will see. We will see. This thing is just stuck. They've added liquidity above 50 up to 300 now. Are they building for something into lunch? Surely not. 300. You'd have to find acceptance over this, and we haven't found it yet. Oh. Stuck at this 250. Remember, there's a buyer caught at 250 right now. Value area high for the day is 262s. You get above that, you go into some meaningful kind of push towards the previous week point of control and previous day point of control, which is where we visited this morning and got stuck. There isn't a whole lot stuck up there, though, I'll be honest with you. There's still a buyer bidding here up at 37s now. He's trying to lift this tape higher. I'm kind of surprised that they're wanting to do this, but they clearly are. They want to send this to 300 at the moment. I don't know if they're going to have the power to do that, but that is what they're showing on the book, that they're looking to hold bids and send this up to 300. They are adding liquidity higher constantly right now, searching for higher prices. Here it goes. MAG catching a bid. Apple 0.5% up, Amazon 0.06% up, Google 0.41% up. Tesla about to go red to green. Nvidia 1.72% down. That thing hasn't caught a bid after the flush. But they're holding on. They're holding on. And if they're going to rotate to MAG, maybe we see a bit of strength. For how long, I don't know. Maybe just a little pop-up in lunch. They're still bidding these 250s. You can see sellers 260s, 275s, 285s, 300 right now. They're looking to get filled on a squeeze up. If ES breaks through VWAP, maybe we get a bigger rotation here. We're right into that 739 level on the spiders. It's a massive level. They're still trying to bid and squeeze this. They're trying to get a big squeeze out here. Maybe a bigger run of stops than they managed first time round. There's lots of passive selling up here. They haven't filled all the liquidity though. There's 100 lot up at 300, but from where we are now up to, zoom in a bit, up to 87s. Yeah, certainly up to 80s. They're looking to fill everyone. Here they go. It's very lackluster for something doing so much work. And chips failing. So they walk it up for chips not to get the move. They ran more stops there on the highs. I don't think they've trapped enough each side. That's the only way I would think about this, is they need to trap more liquidity, because why do this otherwise? It doesn't make sense. How do you determine how many contracts to enter with? Well, first you need to determine what your risk is. What are you willing to risk per trade in terms of cash, right? And then you need to determine where you're entering and where the trade is no longer valid. And that will tell you how many contracts you need to enter in based on the risk. And you can increase that risk if it is, for example, an A+ setup, which is the opposite of what we have today. It would be like a D and C setup for me, or a no setup for me. Here they go. They're trying to fill this liquidity up to 80s and 300s. They are lackluster, though. They are really lackluster. It's an imbalance here at 70. And if we get through that, maybe we test that previous weak point of control up here, and then maybe the 300s again. ES is already through this 300 level. SPY is now through it into positive gamma situation here. Yeah, so once you know how much you're willing to risk, say, let's say you're willing to risk $200, all right, then you would work out where your entry point is. I don't know, let's say you were taking longs here at value and you're willing to put your stop here. So you would measure out how big that is and how much size you can have for $200 with that risk parameter. And the more you trade futures, the more you'll just automatically look at what your risk is and start to define it. Second nature, I mean, you'll be like, oh, that's 30 points risk, I can do this. Or did they fill 80 there? They didn't fill him at 80, they missed him. Look at this garbage. Look at this garbage. The liquidity that finally got ran at 156, was it buy side or sell side? Got ran. No one got run, right? We added to it. No one got run because you reclaimed. So there were big buyers down there. Did you close heavy under them? Remember 160s or whatever it was. Did you close heavy under them? No, they bid back up. No one got run out. The run out, if you're talking about running liquidity, right, you'd need him to stop out, wouldn't you? He didn't stop out. You know he didn't stop out because we didn't move lower, right? If we have a big whale on the tape here, we talked about in here, a big whale on the tape, right, absorbing 160, 150, you'd know he'd stop out, and when he stops out, because the run on liquidity would make him become a seller. We haven't seen that. So there's been no run on liquidity. The only run on liquidity we had was here, and then they held it, which is somewhat bizarre inside value, which makes me think now they should really come to point of control, and if they find acceptance, up here. But the chips are making it very hard because they are basically stuck, not moving right now. Oh, 256, 256. 256 was sellers, mate. That's sell side stops right here. Right, so these would be swing shorts. So, like I said, if I was going to be a market participant, if I know swing shorts are in here, sellers are in here, we come up here, they become market buyers because we run their stop. You get breakout buyers come in, and then you liquidate them down. And that's why I'm surprised we haven't moved down here on that move. Kind of feels odd, but obviously there's a guy here who's just saying, no fucking way are you moving lower today. We identified him here earlier in the day. He's been there ever since. And here's the move. So right now, they are going to target this zone here. Previous week point of control, previous day point of control. I'm surprised they are taking so long to do it, though, honestly. So here's the 80s we talked about. There's the break through the 80s. There's 100 lot at 300. So you've got buyers chasing at 70s now. I am surprised they went this way with it, but they did. And the 300s would be your target. I'd be peeling some off at 80s, peeling some off at 300, and then see if it finds acceptance above. You got SOXL coming up to PDC, PDH. So that's its big pivot. All right, if it can pivot over that, reclaim 175, 180s on deck again. And if they do that, you'll get a squeeze move in the afternoon. Big if, because you're still in a rotation. Big if, because you're still in a rotation. So there's the 80s filled. Filled that guy at 80s finally. Do they complete the move up to 300s? We don't know. But previous week point of control, acting as some resistance up here. This is why you take profit into this if you did get long in this for any reason. If you're a value buyer, if you're buying previous day value area low and you're just trying to trade the rotation all day, this is your TP, this grey box, and then up here. Is there a way to put a partial exit target? Yeah. If you're two contracts long, you just put a limit out for one, don't you? Here we go. They're going to try and fill this guy at 300. 110 lot at 300. Just fill him. Why so long? Fill him. Go. Go. Go and fill him. Go and fill him. He's just sat there. They filled like 8 contracts of his. Go and fill him. SOXL, PDC, PDH. This is the pivot we just talked about. I'm surprised they're going this way. I'm really surprised they wanted to go this way with it, honestly. But yeah, it's good. It's still tradable, I guess, if you love your range. This is everything I detest. How have you not filling this guy at 300? Nice W on the long sir. Nice work. This is previous week open here, and this is your gamma level. ES looks very strong right now, breaking out. He's still at 300 waiting to get filled. There's some bids at 85s and 80s, but they're selling in front of 300 now because people are getting annoyed that they're not getting filled. So they're moving down. you're going to need a big buyer here to get you a lift through it. They filled a bit more, so he's thinning out and he's selling in front of it. 75 lot now to fill. Here he comes. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Filled him. So he's now been filled, and now it's just a question of how high they can squeeze this. You are rejecting PDC and PDH so far on SOXL. The timing of it is epic. So they can come right back down now if they want. One side to the other, to one side to the other, to one side to the other. Next level 354, I would say. I mean, this is the fuck is this? What is this line? That's weird. It's different on the H1. I would say you need to take out obviously IB high. And then you can think about previous day value area high and gap fill if they're really going to send it. All right, so if they're going to find bids now for the day, if this is enough of a trap, if these dips into H1 were all they wanted to hold, right, and they're looking for a bigger build out, right, so if they can hold this now and start to find acceptance here, they can do this over the next coming sessions. But it is, again, it is a bit of a one-trick pony right now. This is going to have to play ball. Right, we're still in a range. This is going to have to play ball and get above here and find acceptance above here. And they cannot let go of this. Look, this is what the danger is. If we let go of this, there's a big washout into here, and this will hurt stocks a lot. So if we can do this, the index can get moving. 180 is the target. It's what we talked about at the beginning of the day, is the drive to 180. It failed. Look. We got through the 75s. We did this flag. We broke. We failed to get up to 180. We corrected, crashed, failed to reclaim 75, came down, held pre-market lows. We're just trapped in here. It's just making its mind up. That's your edge. Do this, it's on. Lose this, it's a big problem. There ain't a lot of edge here, buddy. There ain't a lot of edge here right now. Would I add to a long position on a retrace? For me, no. Like, for me, no. Because, look, this is yesterday's value. This is previous week's value. If you add long down here, right, I get it. You're looking for this to hold. What are you risking? Like, where's your call position? If you bought the call position here and you add here, your call position is going to go right in the middle. You're going to get chopped to death. I don't think, even if that offers this, if you're already long from down here, from value area low, if you're playing a rotation, why move your call position into a midpoint of a choppy range? That would be my argument. Decide between Lucid, Flex, and Pro. Any advice? I would say the Flex is the better account there. Trump speaking, is he really? Great. Am I going to be live tomorrow? If I'm well enough, yes. If I'm well enough. Oh, he is speaking. Do I add to winners? Yeah, absolutely. We've gone over it already. But in trending environments, I like pro-trending environments. Those are the days where I'd add to winners, not in ranging environments. I think adding to a winner in a ranging environment, I would say is dangerous. Doesn't mean it doesn't work out, but for me and how I trade, the easy money comes from adding to a winner in a pro-trending environment. You will see I did it yesterday, I think it was. I think it was yesterday. Sorry. Telling you I want a refund. Is Nvidia stock going to 500? Are you fucking mental? Over what time frame? Are you okay? Nvidia's priced in at 219s. Going to 500 when? I'm not answering a question like that. Am I going to live to 100? It's the same question. Do I die tomorrow? Same question. I don't have anything on calls and puts, no. I will look to do something in the near future. But like I always say, there's a lot. If you're looking to actually trade options, there's much better options traders out there to learn from. I would say go and look at Lucid. He's probably one of the top guys, and he's a good dude. Right, QQQ stuck at that 711, this high volume node for Gamma. This is the level that we're stuck at. And like I said, we cannot get through PDC, PDH yet on the chips. All right, so we're ranging until we find acceptance over that. We find acceptance over those through 75s and go 80s, then there's chance of more. Maybe some of you are positioned long down here. And I just think we're boxed in. Look, it's just the Lewis Hamilton trade. It's all we've seen for the last few days. Like we've gone from one box to the other. Look, one box to this box to this box, 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 back and back. That's all we're doing. Certainly starting to see some struggles up here. Lunch coming here in 2 minutes. Yeah, the chips are really struggling up here, folks. They need to hold an RBS zone of 7140s, really. 17140s, otherwise they're getting slapped. They keep getting slapped. Are we in a trade? Who's we? I don't know. You tell me. Are you in a trade? I'm not in any trades today. Zero. Not even because of the market. I'm not well enough to execute today. I've said it a million times already. Yes, Lucid. With basic trade knowledge and by doing your complete course and all the video you posted, can anyone read the tape and analyze better for trading like you? With basic trading knowledge and by doing your complete course and the video you posted, can anyone read the tape and analyze better for trading like you? I'm not really sure what the question there is, Trader Caro. Reading tape and reading levels, because that's all we're really doing, is understanding who's stuck, where they're stuck, who's playing and how they're playing. I can teach that to you, and I teach it in the course, but my honest feeling with all of these things are it comes with time. The longer that you sit here and do this, the easier it gets, because they become repeatable patterns. You'll start to see oh, look at this guy bidding and bidding and bidding and bidding and bidding and bidding. You'd be like, oh, there's a whale there. He keeps refresh bidding. And then you'll have a look at the delta and you'd be like, fucking hell, look at the size of that buy side delta. Or look at the side of the sell side delta being absorbed. And then you'll know. And then you can start building thesis around it. But like I always talk about, levels matter first. Right? Levels matter first. And then it's what happens at those levels. That is trading, right? I promise you, I used to go through other YouTube's traders videos when I was like, why have they got so many followers? And I still don't understand, because, okay, it's a flag here, I'm buying this. All right, you're buying a bull flag in a huge fucking downtrending market into resistance where I can see on the tape people are stuck. That's where people go wrong. Knowing where to trade. How can I put this? All right, what is the basic principle of a market? All right, the stock market, the futures market, the crypto market is no different to the market that you would walk down the road. All right, so you want to sell me, we always do this, right? You want to sell me your Rolex Daytona. You're asking $90,000 and I'm telling you, no, I'll pay 20. All right, no deal. And then you go, all right, I'll meet you at 80. And I'm like, fuck off, mate. No deal. I'll pay 20. And you're like, oh, I'll meet you at 50. And I'm like, well, look, I'll pay you 30 for it. And then you're like, okay, well, I want to do a quick deal now because maybe you've got some inside knowledge. I'll sell you this at 40. And I'm like, all right, I'll shake your hands at 40. All right. That's a deal. That is what we're watching when we're watching candles. That's a deal. Look, I will show you. This is the big buyer saying, okay, well, I want to buy, I'm willing to buy the market today at 150, 160. The guy down here, right? The big boy. Right? The problem was no one wanted to sell to him down there because for a while they could get prices up here. So they want to sell up here where they can make more money. But eventually what happened is they came down and they panicked out a couple of times. And he was like, well, I feel like this is cheap. How did he know it's cheap? Well, it's under previous day's value area low. So he went, well, I feel like this is cheap for the day. So I'm going to buy the market here. And we had enough people willing to sell him down here. Yeah. He then can hold this position and suddenly all the other buyers that go, oh, well, he's dictated that this market's cheap, so we're going to start buying. Okay, this is fair value. This is where buyers and sellers agree on price. So lots of transactions take place here. Now, as the price gets higher, we already know that this has been the highest point today that the market's willing to react. So people who bought down here start to sell up here. Now, when we don't have enough buyers willing to buy up here because they know cheap is down here and expensive is up here, price stops moving higher. It's an auction, all right? Every single day, every single second, nothing is different between this and going to a shop and you saying, I want to buy a Rolex for 30 grand, and them saying, well, I'll sell it to you for 80 grand, and you having to wait until the price of the Rolex gets 30 grand for you to buy it. And they have to wait for the price to get to 80 grand for them to sell it, right? That's the auction. So once you understand that, it's in these areas that we then look at order flow or setups or traps or whatever. And we try and ignore this. It's noise. It's noise. So in answer to the question, can you read it as well as me? Yeah, of course you can. There are people that, there are much better traders than I am out there. There are some fucking monsters out there in the world shifting millions of dollars each day. It's just about sitting here long enough and starting to understand what's going on. For me, it's about creating a story that makes sense. There's a seller's just come on the tape here, 614 lot up at 315. So he's trying to attract price higher right now. You're still not seeing chips break out, but this guy is trying to attract price up there right now. Alex, I just want your input. Would you think 450s is a good spot to take shorts trying to learn? 450s. Okay. Is it a level of interest? Yes, it's a level of interest. I would say this is a level of interest where you could consider it. What's your problem though? If you're going to take shorts just because we come up there, right? What if the sellers are caught down here and we've rebased and we've left sellers caught down here and we're starting to hold over 320s and they do this move here? So it's a level of interest, but just like I talked about, what would you need to see? Sellers defend it, buyers get caught. That's when you take that trade. For me, just leaving a limit up here is asking for it, because like, let's say you go up and then they go, the war's over. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck a duck, right? So it's all about what happens when we get to a level. It's always about the reaction when we get to the level. Do you trade reversals through absorption? What do you mean through absorption? Do you mean if the absorber starts letting go, or do you mean if the absorber is holding price? Like, I'll lean on them if there's someone absorbing price and use them to move lower. Yeah, if you're talking about there's a buyer at the low and he's absorbing, then it's not a reversal. It'd be a trade through him and using him as resistance to get out. XDIV. In this? When did you say you were in? From August? August 25. This one? You're into TP1 here because you're at the 1618. Your extensions then would be 31. Now, if you hold this current pullback, let's assume you hold this. Yeah, you're looking at 31. So you should already TP'd some out. You're looking at 31s. That's the next spot on the extension. And just like everything else, if we lose this bid here, then you'd be looking for a retest of RBS. Bull flag would be in here, this kind of territory. If we get down there, great. Something like this. I'm guessing there's not much volume on this. It looks very thin. No, can't get any volume on it at all. Really? You go from the low? Give me anything? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you're very thin below 29, below 30. So below 30, that 29 level is a good spot. Right, so if you're looking for a reload, if the market comes back in here and your RBS zone, you don't want it under this. Look how thin you are under this. You don't want it in there. So I'd say here for a reload. You're thinking 90 to 100 is more possible on this. I mean, based on what? I mean, no projections is giving you that. That would be 90 to 100. Mate, you're talking about like 50 standard deviations. Are you okay? You're talking about a 300% move. What? We're talking about something else. Okay. Like, what? Maybe by the time I'm dead. Okay. All right, they're still adding liquidity higher. Where? Oh, look at that. SOXL is now over that level. All right, so the dip's held. You're in TP land here. After this, if they extend it, this is your next TP up here. And just be careful for the rest of the day, folks, because it's you are still inside previous day, previous week's value. All right, guys. Hopefully I feel a bit better tomorrow. Hopefully I feel a bit better tomorrow. As a reminder, you have until Sunday to get 50% off Take Profit Trader. That sale ends Sunday. They will keep that sale for any account that you have with them rolling over. And it's $100 resets until Sunday, and then prices go up. So you can use code FlowZone over there. These will support the stream. It's 90% sale extended over the weekend on Apex. Code FZT for Apex and code FZT for Lucid right now will get you 50% off for your first two on Lucid. We already did the giveaway, my friend. We did it. We did it. Yeah, we did it already. All right, guys. So, look, I will... Jeez. I will hopefully be back tomorrow and not look like an absolute piece of crap and feel like an absolute piece of crap. And we will try and see if we can get some moves tomorrow. What I'd be... Try and give you some levels for this afternoon. All right, let's give you some levels for this afternoon. All right, I'd be very careful of this H1. All right, you are dangling between two nodes right now. All right, this low volume node here, which was the previous week, is still being absorbed. So we know buyers are still present down here. They're still willing to bid. We know anyone that bought over previous date value overnight failed. The rotation is very simple. It's value of yesterday. It's here to here, right? This was planned out pre-market. It's the same rotation. Nothing's changed. I can show you down here if we can get to it. There you go. It's this, right? It's this rotation. That's all we're doing. We are rotating, rotating, rotating until it's ready. Do not, all right, in a rotational market, do not get confused and think we've moved really aggressive, we're going to buy this high. We're not, all right? We're not buying that high. You need to wait now. If you're going to be a buyer, if you haven't bought down here, you need to wait for this kind of move here to start to develop. And even then, you want to be very careful because we haven't found acceptance here. And every time you can see that this level here, it's an SBR level. Support, became resistance, resistance, resistance. Maybe next time we get through it, we go. What I'm trying to tell you is, for continuation setups today, you absolutely lack edge. You lack edge in continuation setups right now. The edge right now is in trading rotation, which I fundamentally hate. So just be smart. And we've had some great days this week, fantastic days last week. If this isn't your market, if this is like me, where it's like, oh, I don't like trading this, leave it alone. Leave it alone, come back tomorrow. And if tomorrow isn't good, we'll come back Monday, right? We don't need to force our way through this right now. All right, guys. Big love to you all. I hope none of you get the lurgies like me. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Fingers crossed. All right. Peace and love, everyone. Take care.